Good. Welcome to review number 3 of the evening. Up this time is Fire Ungh's Quest, or Ungh, or however you pronounce that. It's caveman grunt. Um, anyway, journey into the Stone Age and face the most challenging task of the era: the search for fire. Fire is an exploration adventure with intuitive puzzle design. Without losing many words, it tells a savagely hilarious story. Journey into the Stone Age and face the most challenging task of the era: the search for fire. And a repetitive there. The story's hero is the lovely, chaotic Neanderthal Ungh, and who dozes off during his very first night watch. The next morning, the catastrophe ensues. The fire's gone out, and Ungh's banished by his village. Now you have to help Ungh find a new flame, searching every corner of this Stone Age world. No matter if he has to search the insides of a dinosaur, smoldering volcanoes, or even through time itself. There is no place Ungh won't look for new fire. I think he's going to find it around a volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they won't just let you take it. That would be too easy. Besides, you have a drug trip and you get shanghaied into finding a bunch of fucking fireflies in glass balls.
Duly noted. So, yeah. We were gifted the Nintendo Switch version of this, so over to the Galax for, more details.
So yeah, this is a pointy-clicky adventure game. And the way that they do that on the Switch is you have two options. You have to go over and click on the gate, Eddie. Also, we're getting that static thing again. I think it's coming from Adam because his face is glowing and he's not saying anything.
Okay, is it gone?
Yes.
Okay, my phone is getting too close to the microphone. That's what that is.
That would explain it.
So yeah, it is a point-and-click adventure game. The way that this is done on the Switch is you can either use the touch screen if you have it in tabletop or portable mode, or you can use Joy-Con and motion controls. This is not optimal. So I did play a good amount of game. It's serviceable, but this game really feels like it wants to be played with the mouse. So
yeah, not surprisingly, this game originated on the PC from 6 years ago. But this Switch port is new.
Yeah, there are only two buttons, basically. There's the do a thing button, which would be a mouse click, and then there's the show interactable things on this screen, which is good, because otherwise sometimes you wouldn't be able to tell. When it's just interacting with objects, that's fairly okay. But to travel left and right from the screen, you have to click on the arrow keys at the bottom of the. I wasn't kidding about the drug trip, by the way. You have to click on the arrows at the bottom left and right of the screen. And sometimes when there's like a background layer, you have to click on an area and then walk over to the background layer or whatever. The puzzles are actually pretty interesting and well put together. Usually, eventually, sometimes you might not notice, especially when doing something activates the arrow keys to go to the next screen in a certain direction. But generally, they're pretty well put together. The game does not have an inventory. Ungh can carry one thing in his hands. And if you pick up something else, you put down the other thing. Which generally works kind of okay. The puzzles get more complicated as they go. The art style is very cartoony and sometimes a little bit gross. You can't retrieve anything. You have to cycle the platforms. You've also missed out on one of the medals for this stage, which I will now go into. Each stage also has, there are only like 10 stages, I think. I got to like 4 of them. And then you can walk onto the low platform when it's low. And you have to match the heights to, it's a little, the puzzle solving is a little bit clunky sometimes, but it's not that bad. I don't think, or at least I imagine it wouldn't be if you had a mouse. It was a little bit clunky with the touch controls, and a little bit more clunky with the motion controls, although it does at least let you adjust the sensitivity. Each stage of the 10 has, I think, 3 medals in it. And you collect the medals, and they unlock things in that treasure chest thing up in the void to the left, to the top right there, which is pretty much concept art and stuff. You basically get 1 for every 3 coins you get, and there are 3 coins in every stage. Sometimes they're just hidden in the background. Sometimes you have to do a specific thing to make them available. And sometimes you have to, the second stage is the big example of gross. Because there's this dragon, this dinosaur that's dead-ish. I mean, it's alive, but you pull aside some of its skin and twist its brain and stuff. Yeah. So yeah. Conveyance is okay for a game that is almost completely wordless. So yeah, if the aesthetic works for you and you like this kind of adventure game, then sure, it's not a bad game. Otherwise, if any of that turns it off, it's okay. There's not really a whole lot in the way of music that I found. It's appropriate. So this is where I was talking about. You actually have to press the arrow to go further right to go into the mouth. This isn't the only time, but it was the first one that stood out to me. So yeah, what's the damage price-wise, Adam?
Oh boy, $14.99.
Is it less on the PC?
Oh yeah, it's $9.99 regular. It's on deep sale right now. It's $1.
So yeah, I'd probably more recommend the PC version than the Switch version if the game appeals to you, unless you really want to be able to play it portable, and you don't plan on getting a Steam Deck. Adam, you're going back too close.
Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's another thing that's in this one. Sometimes when you change something, it's not immediately obvious what changing it did, and you have to go to another screen to check it. Such as for here, you can see that those nodes are the toenail controls, so you want to do the furthest left one. And then that'll flip up the first toenail, which gives you a way to control the skull skin or whatever the fuck it is from on the ground. Sorry, this stage was really hard for me to make it past because I do not like a lot of this gross out stuff. So yeah, I think that's about it before I have to walk Pettyfan through the rest of this puzzle.
All right, I think we'll cut it off here then.
Yeah, it's not a bad game. I wouldn't recommend it for $10. I wouldn't say no to it for $10 or less. But between being more expensive and not being the ideal control scheme, the Switch version is probably not the best way to play it.
Duly noted. Anyway, that'll about do it for Fire here. Be sure to tune in after the break, as we will be reviewing Round Guard. Or rather, I will.
Mm-hmm.